Times presentation. I'm Eric Huffman, the Samurai. Uh, have a reflexology center here in Chicago, and we focus a lot on health and wellness and energy flow and chi restoration and becoming more authentic with your body and how to live a very long, healthy, and happy life. And I am absolutely delighted. It's my pleasure to have a very special guest here today. He is a health expert and author of the book PEMF, The Fifth Element of Health. He's one of my go-to guys for understanding more about nutrition, supplements, products, anything that has to do with health and wellness. This guy is just plugged in. He's always on the pulse and knows what's going on. And he was the first one to introduce me to the So Easy Cleanse many years ago. So, all Mr. Bryant Myers. All right, Brian, welcome. I'm going to make you the presenter here. Welcome to the call.
Well, thanks, Eric. I'm happy to be here and coming to you live from Braden River here in Bradenton, Florida. Beautiful, beautiful night. And just look forward to really sharing my about 10 years worth of knowledge and experience in, cleansing, natural healing, colon, especially colon cleansing. So, yeah, let's do this.
All right. Well, one of the reasons why I wanted to do this is so many of my clients, as I'm doing the reflexology, I can tell that there are points on the feet that will tell me what's going on inside the intestines. And if the reflex points on the feet are very hard and very tender, that's a clear tell sign that there's some excess fecal matter or a little extra poo in the intestines. And I've noticed more so this summer than any other time that my clients have a little extra stuff in there. And it'd be great to introduce them to this cleanse. And first off, Brian, could you just tell us about the importance of cleansing, the importance of keeping the colon clean? And I hear you found a really great story about a gentleman who was 156 years old, and can you tell us about that?
Yeah, it's a story about old Thomas Hare. He was actually buried in Westminster Abbey, which is a church that's over 1,800 years old. And he lived to be 152 years old. And his autopsy was commissioned by the Prince or the King of England at the time. And it was a William Harvey he was one of the people that discovered the circulation of the blood, how the blood circulates. And he did the autopsy of old Tom Hare, and he found that his colon was almost like a child's colon. It was that clean.
Wow.
There's a saying that you've probably maybe heard before, that death begins in the colon. It's Elie Metchnikoff, a Nobel Prize winner, came up with that phrase. And it's because, our colon is our body's sewage system, right? So if it gets overflowing, the toxins can overflow into the bloodstream and sort of toxify your whole body. And, there's been many natural hygienists and natural healers that have said, the cause of disease is toxicity or toxemia, and it's usually rooted in the colon. So that's why we actually, and some of the people that on the call here might have got the email with the subject line, "The secret to immortality is pooping." And
the secret to immortality is what?
Is pooping. And, we say that because, old Tom Hare's story it's not immortal, but 152 is certainly a lot older than what most people expect to live to. And, Dr. William Harvey, he was astounded how clean his colon was. It was just, he had never done an autopsy on someone that was, gosh, even, anywhere in their later years that had a colon that clean.
So obviously, have clean colon and healthy colon is very important for longevity and overall health. And please explain to me, why is it that you chose to use the So Easy Cleanse over any other product to for cleansing your colon?
Yeah. Well, I've actually worked at health food stores on and off. I don't anymore, but about 15 years ago, for about 5 years, I worked at health food stores on and off, and I was very familiar with all the colon cleanses on the market. And I tried all the ones that are health food store. I mean, not all at once, but over a period of time I tried them. And then I tried a few also mail order that were mostly bentonite psyllium based cleanses. And I never really got that much success with those bentonite and psyllium cleanses. And it seemed that was a kind of common ingredients in almost all the cleanses that were on the market that I was trying, at least for pulling out what was called the mucoid plaque, which is this accumulation of tire rubber consistency buildup year after year, right? And difficult to get that out. And one of the goals of natural healing, and anybody that's really into natural healing will tell you that one of the biggest epiphanies in your health is removing that mucoid or mucus plaque. And the So Easy Cleanse was different because it didn't use bentonite and psyllium. It used the oil palm trunk fiber. And what's special about that is it doesn't try to pull the mucoid plaque off of the colon wall by being really sticky. It actually penetrates the mucoid plaque and lubricates the colon wall, and it makes it slippery so that the mucoid plaque, it just slips right out. It just makes it like slip and slide, I would tell, kind of analogy. It just comes right out, and we've had a lot of people that have had that experience that it just felt like a normal number two, and they look, down and they're just astounded what comes out. I mean, at some point.
Helps flush out this thing, slip and slide it out, called the mucoid plaque. Now, is the mucoid plaque, is this something that contributes to things like leaky gut? Are you familiar with the term leaky gut?
Yeah, leaky gut. The mucoid, there's a lot of factors, there's a lot of pesticides like Roundup have been linked to leaky gut. Measles, mumps, rubella vaccines have been linked to leaky gut. There's a lot of environmental poisons that have been linked to that. But here's the thing, if you have leaky gut and you got toxemia in your colon, it makes everything even worse, right? Because you have all this toxic buildup and you got these holes, these little these pores in your colon, and all those toxins are just easily slipping into your bloodstream. For someone without leaky gut, they wouldn't be as much of a problem. Although, even if you did not have leaky gut, if you get that buildup and it keeps accumulating, your colon wall will stretch. If you ever take like a piece of rubber, like latex, if you stretch it enough, it gets really thin. It becomes thinner, right?
Right.
Like tire rubber, if it's got something if it pops out, the rubber becomes thinner in that spot. So a lot of people, even if they don't have leaky gut, they get that stretched colon and it makes the colon wall thinner. And it also makes these toxins more easily absorbed in the stream. But yeah, leaky gut, there's a lot of causes, and the mucoid plaque, if you have which is basically just a buildup over the years. And I tell people, think of the mucoid plaque as that accumulation in your colon that's not going anywhere, even if you're regular. Forget about your most recent meals, right? Because they're obviously in there too. Take all your most recent meals out, like even your past week's worth of food, right? And you still have, like, on average, the average American is like around 10, 15 pounds of accumulation. Again, that's not including the recent meals. That's 10 to 15 pounds.
Most people have 10 or 15 pounds of this mucoid plaque in their intestines. So what you're saying is, even if you're regular and you're having a bowel movement every day, or things are still passing through, there's still something in there stuck to the sides? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and the average American, of course, is overweight. We're the most obese countries in the world. So obviously people that are thinner, it's probably not that much. But you got to remember there's a lot of Americans that are really overweight. And, but yeah, even if you're regular, Dr. Bernard Jensen is one of the experts on colon health. He's no longer alive, but he lived to be 96, so he did pretty well. But he wrote this book, Tissue Cleansing Through Bowel Management, and He said that he looked at x-rays of hundreds and hundreds of colons. He never saw a healthy colon, he said, never. The ones you see in the textbooks, he never saw one like that. But yeah, so he would see sagging, but even people that were regular, he would sometimes find they just had little tiny openings where everything was somehow still going through, but they had all this accumulation around it, you know, and so but then a lot of people most Americans are constipated. The average American goes to the bathroom once every other day. That's average. So, and some people it's like once a week, or it gets even worse, right? But think about that, average American once every other day, you know, and where are those other 5 meals going if you're going once every other day? You eat 3 meals a day.
Now, if you're only having a bowel movement every other day, is this So Easy Cleanse something that is good for you to do?
Yeah, I tell people I tell people you need to earn this cleanse. You need to earn the right to do this 3-day cleanse. I mean, kind of sort of jokingly, but I'm not joking, because you need to do something to get your colons moving first.
What do you recommend?
I like Dr. Schultz Intestinal Formula #1, which you can get at herbdoc.com. It's really easy, just HERBDOC.com. I don't have any affiliation with that company, but I really like his products. He's got some really good products. And yeah, his intestinal formula #1, it's mainly, but there's other Cascara, Sagrada, Senna-like products on the market. So the key ingredients in this formula is Cascara, Sagrada, Senna, buckthorn. I think there's some aloe, a little bit of cayenne, and he's got a couple parasite things that help to kill parasites in there too. Ginger is in it. And it's all,
what is it?
yeah, it's Dr. Schultz Intestinal Formula #1.
And what does it do?
It creates peristalsis. Cascara, Sagrada, and Senna have these, you know, or phytochemicals in them that stimulate peristalsis. It's a cathartic. In herbology, they're called cathartics. They help you have a catharsis.
So just 1 second here, Brian. For the layperson, what is peristalsis? Can you please?
Yeah, sure. So peristalsis, your colon has these muscles that create a wave-like motion, and it's kind of like just helps to squeeze, just like you squeeze a tube of toothpaste, right? It just naturally creates a wave-like motion. It just helps to push the bowels out to evacuate the colon, right?
So it helps too.
Yeah, the problem is a lot of people, they stop the wave. They stop waving. And there's many reasons. One of the worst practices you can do is to hold it. I tell people, when you gotta go, go. That's one of the easiest rules of colon health is, you know, follow that peristalsis. You know, when you have the urge, don't suppress it. Because what happens is you train your muscles in your colon to stop waving, which then everything gets stagnant, it just gets stuck, right? And there's a lot of other causes too, a toxic diet, you know, and fast food. You know, the average American diet creates that problem. But yeah, so that's why we want to do a #1 formula, is to get that wave going, to help to get the bowels moving.
Excellent. So what you're saying is before you actually start doing before we start,
yeah,
you got to get the bowels regular.
Yeah.
What's regular? What does that mean?
I tell people try to get up to at least 2 times a day.
2 times?
Twice, yeah, just for a couple days. So if you're already going like twice a day on average, you can get right in, you can start the cleanse. But, you know, a lot of people, they aren't going to the bathroom even twice a day. You know, once a day, you can kind of play it by feel. But I try to tell people, try to get up to 2 times a day. If you got to do some prune juice or something you get at your grocery store, if you don't want to order from herbdoc.com, you know, there's your health food store probably has some like laxative teas. You can buy like Smooth Move tea is another one you can buy that's popular, that's pretty inexpensive. Again, prune juice or get prunes and like soak them like in warm water. That works. But you know, just try to get things moving a little bit. That way, when you do the 3-day cleanse, that mucoid plaque won't get then stuck because the 3-day cleanse will make the colon wall slippery so that it like dislodges the mucoid plaque. But if you're all backed up and bound up, it's got nowhere to go. And I just know from experience that the best results are always when people do something to get the colon moving, and people that are really inspired and want to take it to the next level will even do like a little mini fast beforehand, so that you don't have those previous meals to sort of. But that's optional. You don't have to do it. You can just follow the directions and get results. But we have found that definitely getting the bowels moving is something we found that really is important. Even though the directions don't say that, that's why we have to educate people on that point.
Actually, that's exactly your presentation. So that, because I know when I did it with you, it was more precise, and all your recommendations helped me out so much. And that you even mentioned that the day before about the meals or something like that. Can you explain that to me?
Yeah, that's actually in the directions. So you'll get a sheet that's got the directions on how to do it. And the 2 days before, basically they recommend to eat like half of what you normally eat. So eat 4 times a day, eat twice a day. The day before, just eat once, And if you need a little extra food, just do like salads, fruits, juices, smoothies, things that are really cleansing. Or like some brown rice or something macrobiotic like that is very, has a lot of fiber, or quinoa, millet. But just try to eat light a couple of days before, and try to make sure that your colon's moving.
Okay, so now we've got our bowels moving properly, and we're reduced our meals. Can you tell us, now we're ready to start the 3-day cleanse? Can you tell us about it, how to do it, how it works? And I do have some important things. Like, one of the biggest questions is it safe? Do I need to be by a toilet all day long, or is this something I can do during my day?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. Actually, it's not, because we're assuming you're not overdoing the Dr. Schultz #1 formula. You're following the directions. But if you just follow the directions for the cleanse, yeah, it's just, you're going to probably have the similar number of bowel movements. Everybody's a little bit different, but we found that we've had a lot of people that go to work, they just continue their life as usual. And because the shakes are very satisfying, they are able to just live their life normally and not have to do anything special. I would say, if you had a weekend to take off, it's kind of nice to have a little time off to do it. But we've had people that are really busy that can't take time off, and they still had good results. And you just, it's sort of like you just kind of your normal movements, and everybody's different, but usually one of them is like, it feels like a normal movement, but it's not, well, most of the time it does. And it's just surprising what comes out, because again, everybody's really different. I can't make any generalizations. We've had a lot of stories, positive stories, but it's amazing without getting too graphic, because it is kind of, you can look on the website 3daycleanse.com. We have some nice pictures there. To really see what's
have some very interesting pictures, and I'm concerned about the people who take such photos. But I must say that I've done a lot of colon cleanses throughout my life, and when I did the So Easy cleanse, I was amazed at what all came out. Boy, does it clean house. And it was very comfortable. It was very comfortable. It was very easy. Like you said, it was just very normal. I was seeing clients, working, and yes, definitely cleans you out.
Yes, it does clean you out, and it's good. I tell people, try to do some kind of cleanse. I saw at least once a year, ideally once a season. Or a spring cleaning. If you do it twice a year, do it like a spring cleaning after the winter, and then like before the winter, if you go up north. But I say ideally like twice a year is doable for most people. What's that?
Is it good to do it now in the summer?
Yeah, you can do it in the summer. You can do it anytime. It's just trying in people's minds moving forward in their health program, Health for Life, being healthy for life. Try to have some kind of mental remembrance to like always do this twice a year. And it's good to add, this is maybe another topic of another call, but to do like a liver cleanse, to clean out the liver and the gallbladder. There's some really good protocols for that. And again, not related to the So Easy, but it's another form of cleansing that's important. And like the kidney type of cleansing, Dr. Schultz has some good products on that. But the colon is by far the most important. That's where most people's toxic buildup is like, I don't know what percentage it is. Everybody's different. But it's probably like at least 70, 80% of people's toxins are all right there in the colon.
So I'm doing the So Easy cleanse. What's my day like? How are my meals? What's the protocol?
Yeah, you get this box is 1 day, and actually we can just open it up here. I can, and you get one for each day, so you get 3 of these boxes. So it's really easy.
That's all I'm doing is just eating that. Can I eat food, or I'm just drinking what's in that box?
Yeah, in the box here, you have the wheatgrass. You got two wheatgrasses. There's 2 of these, and these just make wheatgrass. The wheatgrasses, and you just do these twice a day in the morning. It's like alkalizing and detoxifying. Most people know wheatgrass is like a cleansing, detoxifying. And actually, this tastes much better than wheatgrass juice at the health food store or at the Whole Foods.
The best tasting wheatgrass I've ever had.
Yeah, it's really good tasting, and they use aeroponics, so you're getting the peak time of the maximal nutrition of the wheatgrass, and so that's very good. You do the bio cell twice a day also, and again, this is just for like extra minerals and extra nutrition. But the key is you're getting 3 sets of these: the bio diet or bio balance and bio diet, and you mix these together, and it makes a thick shake. And I tell people, I like those shakers that have a little like paintball in there, so you can really shake it up. You don't really need a blender necessarily, but I tell people drink it right away. Add plenty of water, and because if you let it sit, it'll gel and it becomes a little harder to get down. But you can see when it gels that you can get a sense for how slippery and mucilaginous it is, and you can kind of tell that why it makes the colon wall slippery. And the other thing too is, unlike a lot of other cleanses, this oil palm trunk fiber has been shown to penetrate the mucoid plaque. So it's getting into that colon wall and lubricating it. And so these are very thick and satisfying. There's lots of fiber in here, so it really fills you up. And if you can drink a lot of, when you're on this cleanse, you can drink like a gallon of water. Depending on your weight and your size, the rule, half your body weight in ounces, you could almost double that when you're on the cleanse. But there's going to be some water already in the shake that you make. But because there's so much fiber, that extra water, just keep drinking water throughout the day, and it'll help the whole process. Because the water combined with the fiber is what creates the slippery lubrication.
So Brian, when I did this and I was drinking the shakes, you're absolutely correct. It's quite filling. But I think one of the days I felt a little hungry in the afternoon, and you'd mentioned that you could eat like 1 green apple or 1 apple or something like that. Is that still correct?
Yeah. I tell people, and here's the thing, there are some people that are big eaters and they are not used to, we've had people that do this cleanse that have never gone a day in their life without eating. So it is very filling, but it's better to have an apple or a salad or something light than just to quit, like in day 2 and just to totally, because the thing is the fiber is still in there. So even if you had to have like a little oatmeal or brown rice even on top of a salad and some fruit, still better than quitting, just giving up and getting a pizza or something. But most people we find are for 3 days, they can handle just doing this, and maybe adding an apple. Granny Smith is ideal because it's low sugar, but any type of apple is fine, or just berries or some light fruit. Because fruit's very cleansing, right? So fruit, pretty much any type of fruit. We just say an apple because the apple pectin and the fiber in the apple. But any fruit's going to be cleansing. It's not going to really interfere with the cleanse.
Excellent. Okay, so because I know there's a lot of concerns that people have said, my clients said to me, "What? You don't eat?"
Yeah.
And it just they can't. After that, they don't hear anything else I say about
Yeah.
how phenomenal you feel afterwards, how you have more energy. Even for me, my vision is clearer afterwards, and it's just amazing how great I feel for weeks and weeks and weeks afterwards. So I understand for someone who's maybe never done a cleanse, for them to know that, okay, let's say you're doing the cleanse, you're drinking the shakes, and you do feel like, you know what, I've got to eat something. It's okay. You can eat something. It's
Yeah.
just to do it correctly, but still, if it's necessary, you can eat some whole grains or some fruit or a salad. So that's huge. That's fantastic. And you'll still receive benefits, correct?
Yes. Yeah, and the thing too to realize is, not only does it help you to have more energy, and you mentioned your sight. Notice how some people get discoloration in their eyes over time. The older people sometimes. Well, remember, your eyes are an extension of your brain. It's the one part of your brain that's external to the body. So actually, your whole brain is kind of discolored also. And we have a lot of side benefits, like people with chronic bad breath get, and their partners are always very happy that they do the cleanse because a source of bad breath, when you think about it, it's kind of common sense, right? It's like if you got all this toxic buildup down here, the air it's going to go up, right? Especially if they're constipated. It's not the air. Of course, they can have flatulence, and it can go the other way too. But so this is like the cure for bad breath. Really. And a flat stomach, for people that are like, a lot of people, all these ab programs, everybody is so obsessed about having a flat stomach. And it is sexy. There's something sexy about having a flat stomach, whether you're a man or a woman. And again, even people, you ever see those people who are like football players in high school? And it's like they're still kind of muscular, their arms are still big, but then they got this pot belly. It's like, it's out of proportion with the rest of their body. They got muscular legs and arms and their shoulders, but then there's this big rock hard pot belly. Well, what do you think that is? That's not, that's not just fat. Maybe a little bit of fat there, but it's an impacted colon, if we can at some point get into the foods that are the worst offenders, because once you do clean out the colon, you want to keep it clean. You want to.
Right. Okay, so we've done the So Easy cleanse. We did it for the 3 days, and during, I think you mentioned to me as well, is that during the So Easy cleanse, during those 3 days of taking the shakes, you still recommend either taking the intestinal formula #1 or smooth move tea at night, something to just help encourage that bowel movement. But we finished that, we've done that, now we're coming off of it. How do you go about that? How do you recommend coming off the So Easy cleanse?
Yeah, very carefully. You want, because the first instinct when you've gone 3, it's not that you're not eating, you are having 3 shakes a day. It's actually, and this, I know these two together doesn't look like a meal, but they really become thick and they really fill. But when you come off the cleanse, especially once you have that release, you want to come off with lots of fruits, salads. Just eat as light as possible. If you can just eat like once or twice a day coming off and just make it, you can have some brown rice or, like I was saying, like some steamed vegetables are good, because steamed vegetables, non-starchy especially, don't do potatoes. So when you do steamed vegetables, it means only non-starchy, no squash, no potatoes, no sweet potatoes, any kind of potatoes.
Why?
Because it's glue. Potato paste, especially when you peel the potatoes, it can become like glue. If you ever have like potato starch, you mix it, it makes like a glue, a paste.
Right.
It's starch. The starches are very gluey. Even like white bread's even worse actually. But
Don't eat glue after the cleanse.
Don't, yeah, and people don't realize that breads and pastas and cheese, I tell people Elmer's glue's got a cow on it for a reason. It's not that it's not just a marketing ploy. I mean, Elmer's glue does come from cows.
Right. That's right.
So, yeah, so try to do like, you have to have a little bit of meat. Just make sure it's just a small amount, like a flavoring or side. Like they do in China, they get 90% of their protein. They only get about 10% of their protein from meat. In rural China, now they're becoming more westernized, but you get into some of those rural areas, and it's just the amount of meat is just a small little side portion, and they got the vegetables and the rice. Where in the U.S. it's different. It's the opposite. It's a big steak, and then maybe a big thing of potatoes, and just a little tiny, like maybe some steamed spinach, like a little bit of. It's like almost one spoonful of like, little salad that's drenched with dressing. It's almost like you want a little salad with that dressing. We're joking, but
some people, when they have the salad, they put the tons of ranch and blue cheese, shredded cheese all over it, and more cottage cheese.
Right, cottage cheese.
A little lettuce.
Yeah, and Elmer's glue. But no, like vinegar, just like vinegar, apple cider vinegar and olive oil and like Bragg's aminos makes a really good dressing. You can add some, you make a salad, but try to use like a non-dairy,
non-dairy salad.
So salads are good, fruit is good, oatmeal is good, brown rice. Anybody into macrobiotic cooking, with brown rice and sea vegetables, and that's great. That's a good way to come off, but. However, even if you eat those good foods, still don't overeat. Still just try to eat as light as possible.
Thank you, Brian. So, Brian, you've also shared with me. Can you share with us the importance of probiotics, of taking probiotics after the easy cleanse, as well as which probiotics you recommend?
I definitely recommend once you come off the cleanse to add a probiotic. I like the live probiotics, the ones that are to me the best are really fermented foods like sauerkraut, pickles. When I say pickles, I don't mean what are the name brands of pickles. I'm talking about the ones you get at health food stores that are like not pasteurized. Kimchi. I'm not they're like kefir. If you make your own kefir with raw goat's milk, it's not so bad, but I like coconut water kefir, and there's a product at Whole Foods that's a very potent coconut water kefir probiotic, and I was going to have that bottle here to show, and I don't have it here, but it's in my fridge, and you want me to get it, but it's very, very powerful. It's got several billion, for every little ounce you get like 20 or 30, I don't know, it's actually like 100 billion count per ounce or something.
That's the Eco Line coconut water probiotic?
Yeah, right, that one, right. And it's at Whole Foods. It's actually at not just Whole Foods, but I've seen it in other health food stores in my area as well. And it's very potent, but BioK is pretty decent. There are some like living probiotic. I'm not that big of a fan of the capsules, because a lot of those are freeze-dried, and when you really think about it, if you're like taking a nap and all of a sudden you're like dumped into like a big pool of acid, that's like a rude awakening, like in your stomach. So these like freeze-dried probiotics are all like they're dormant. They're not even really. And then I've heard some people say just put them in water for a little while, just let them wake up in water or something. But I don't feel the same thing I feel with like that fermented the kefir. Kombucha is a good source of probiotics as well if you make it right. You can buy kombucha or buy your own, but the coconut water kefir that has a stronger dose of probiotics than even the kombucha. And you can feel it go to work. It's powerful. It's like Roto-Rooter. You can just kind of feel those little guys going in there, and that's your first line of defense. So once you clean your colon out, a healthy gut you should have more cells in your gut than the rest of your body. And they should be like a wide spectrum of acidophilus, bifidus. There should be not just a couple. That's why I don't like those capsules either, because they only have a few strains. So coconut water kefir is using a live kefir grain. If you ever seen kefir grains, it's almost like a cottage cheese like sort of thingy. And you can put it, again, you don't have to put it into milk. You can just put it into coconut water and it just ferments it. And you get hundreds of strains of healthy bacteria in a very natural proportion. You get these like very nice colonies to sort of recolonize your colon. So it's sort of like you're nuking the planet, then you're recolonizing with the good guy. Not nuking, I mean you're just cleaning the planet.
So bad shit out, good shit in.
Right. Exactly. I couldn't have said it better myself. That's it. That is it, you know.
Oh, thank you. I had a couple questions that people emailed me that I wanted to ask you, and but before I start in on that, is there anything else that you want to share to wrap up with the So Easy Cleanse?
We covered most of the main points. Like I said, it does come with directions. It's very easy to, it really is for most people easy to do. That's why we call it the So Easy Cleanse, because it tells you at 8 a.m. or 9 o'clock do this, at 10 o'clock. Of course, if you wake up later, you can just stagger your hours, you can just do the math and kind of push everything back. But it really is simple. I mean, it's not like a lot of colon cleanses that are like a 30-day. I've seen something like 90 days where you got to buy several. Most colon cleanses are 30 days. And even though you're like eating and stuff, you have to remember to like take everything like every day for 30 days. And I've had so many people tell me, it's like, I was doing this and I just totally forgot. And then so they end up having like half a kit of a colon cleanse in their cupboard, that they never finished. For 3 days, because this is all you're eating, you're gonna complete it. I mean, this is your food for 3 days. So, I mean, if anything, you'll just be looking for a little more food, like a little more, something else to eat, right? So that's a real problem. And I worked at health food stores, and people just, 30 days is a long time to like be consistent with something every day, morning, afternoon, and night.
Right.
And some of those cleanses, they got tinctures and capsules and then the powders. And you got to do this, this, and this, but it's over a 30-day period. So that's another reason why we say this is so easy. This is the only cleanse that I know of that really works in just 3 days. I still haven't seen any others. You hear about like, Dr. Oz's 3-day cleanse and some of these other 3-day cleanses, but it's not the same thing. They're not a 3-day colon cleanse. They don't really clean out the mucoid plaque. They just kind of give your digestive system a rest for 3 days, which is not the same thing. Like a 3-day fast is not the same thing. I know people that have done 90, 60 or 60-day fasts or even longer and still didn't get that mucoid plaque out. So just because you're fasting doesn't mean that you're necessarily getting rid of that rubbery, you gotta get something in there to really lubricate the colon wall so that it will, just slip out, because it's really caked on there in most people.
Excellent, Brian. Thank you so much. So I have a question here. One of my clients is suffering from esophageal ulcers. There's some type of ulcers down in the esophagus close to the stomach that is caused by acid reflux. Is this something that you recommend for them to do the So Easy Cleanse, or are there other things that you'd recommend to assist with that?
Yeah. No, yeah. So GERD, or gastrointestinal reflux disorder, is actually very common in the U.S. and it comes from a number of sources, and a lot of times it is related to bad digestion. So getting that in the dysbiosis that happens when people have all the bad parasites and bacteria. And this will help with getting rid of parasites too, because a lot of parasites are burrowed into the mucoid plaque. I mean, if you have parasites. So by getting rid of the whole mothership, right? It's like all the aliens are going down with it, right? But the GERD, so this definitely will help GERD, and a good probiotic, and strengthen your digestion. And that coconut water probiotic, take like an ounce before each meal, and it gives like an extra acidity to the stomach, and it will help with digestion. And then with GERD, this is also important. If you got GERD, you shouldn't be eating late at night. And you can sleep on a little bit of an incline, because what happens is if you eat too late, and the stomach acids will seep into the esophagus and cause that little burn. So you can get these little inclines where you can sleep on an incline sort of, so it helps to prevent that. But even better, it's to avoid eating late at night and not to eat those big meals. Because a lot of Americans, they go all day long with like, they maybe have a donut in the morning, and they're going on coffee all day. They eat something on the run for lunch, and then they come home starving, and then they just eat this huge meal at night. And a lot of people that work 9 to 5 jobs do this, right? And
then they lay down and go to sleep.
And they don't go to sleep, and that's where the GERDs come. I mean, that's not the only cause. There's many causes. But I think correcting the digestion, cleaning out that mucoid plaque, getting a good probiotic, and trying to eat more smaller, more frequent meals, and eat your bigger meals in the early part of the day. And if you're eating late at night, you just got to retrain yourself. It's not easy, because I've had to shift this cycle, and you have to almost eat breakfast when you're not hungry, just to sort of reset the cycle. And
you had to shift the cycle?
Right, to shift the cycle.
Shit.
Yeah, remember, shift happens, So we want a shift to happen in your health. We want your health to shift to a higher level. So yeah, I mean, that is really one of the best things that someone with reflux can do, is the smaller, more frequent meals, and avoid, the fried foods, the junk foods, breads. All those sugar can be like putting fuel on the fire. All these. And if you have to eat something late at night, just have like maybe a little bit of a banana, or just something really light, like some fruit, or just something that's light at night. Eat light at night.
Light at night. Awesome. So, back to the esophageal ulcers, do you know anything about drinking aloe vera, or there's a lot of information on the internet saying that aloe vera juice is good for those, will help cool those down. Do you agree with that? And if so, what aloe vera juice do you recommend, if any?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I used to work it's been a while since I worked at a health food store, but you want the aloe veras that have the higher polysaccharide counts as far as the bigger chain. Those are the ones that are the most sensitive to heat. So a lot of the cheaper aloe vera juices end up with just a lot of the smaller size mucopolysaccharides, the Dalton, I forget the terminology.
What's a polysaccharide? Like
if you ever like fillet a aloe like leaf, you'll notice it's very mucil, it's very slippery, almost like okra. Actually, Bernard Jensen recommended okra as well. They both have the mucopolysaccharides, right? Mucopolysaccharides are long chain polysaccharides, and they call them mucopolysaccharides because they're mucousy. They're like mucilaginous. They're like slippery. They got sort of like that jelly, slippery feel, right?
All right.
And that's very soothing. Actually, the 3-day cleanse has that too, but you don't do the 3-day cleanse every day. But in general, just doing more like green juices. I would say try to have a green juice every day, because that's, to me, I like juices even better even. Well, I mean, the aloe is good, but it's hard to find a good quality aloe. There's all kinds of, but there are some good ones out there. Do your research, but just make sure that it's a process that preserves those larger mucopolysaccharides. Because aloe, if you get aloe yourself, and I remember there's recipes for smoothies with aloe plant. You just get the fresh leaf. But you can get, Whole Foods actually sells the fresh leaves in the produce section.
Right.
Yeah. So, as close to nature as possible. But there are some bitter compounds in the aloe that some of these products, these juices, remove to make them a little more. But, and certainly on the external, on the skin too, the aloe leaf is great for the skin.
I use the aloe vera leaves. My dad, we would grow a plant, and if we ever got sunburn, first thing he would do is cut off a little piece of the leaf and rub it on the sunburn, or even a burn,
Yeah.
and it would cool it instantly. And you cut.
Well, it's the same. What people don't realize is the epithelial, your skin cells, are very closely related to the cells along your intestinal tract. Because when you think about it, we're like a donut. We got the geometry of a donut in some topology, meaning the outside of our body, our intestinal tract is on the outside of our body. Think about that. From your mouth to your anus is really a tube, right? That's on the outside of your body. So it's very similar. It really is very similar to your skin cells.
It's right.
So aloes, that's why aloe, things that are good for your, sometimes things that are good for your skin are also good for, your intestinal tract. But I mean, things that are natural. I'm not talking about like unnatural skin products. But yeah, yeah.
It's very natural things. Excellent. So thank you so much, Brian. So another person asked me today. She lives in the Bahamas, and they have a big mold problem there. And she asked me if there was an air purifier system that I recommended that helps eradicate mold. Do you know anything about that? And do you recommend one?
Yeah, mold's a tough one. I mean, I know people that have lived in like like black mold here in Florida, like black mold. There's certain types of mold that it gets very moist here and very damp. So mold's a problem here in Florida as well. And it's amazing. I've seen people, the core of their health challenges was their mold. As soon as they moved, it's like they got started to get better. So yeah, I mean, obviously moving is a radical.
So yeah, let's say you can't move. If you have to live where you're at.
I seriously would get some specialists, and it's not, I'm certainly not for using a lot of chemicals, but even if they got to use something that's not exactly natural to strip the house of mold, you can always air the house out. I mean, a good ozonator is good. I mean, you can get an ozonator, but an ozonator alone, because the air purifier alone is not going to do it. An air purifier helps a little bit because it will take some of the spores out of the air. But even the best air purifiers have a certain turnover time. So there's still enough time for the mold to be floating around. And, it's a tough one. I would say hire, look on Google for mold removal just mold removal service, right? And if they do end up using some chemicals or something, just air out your house, open up all your doors and windows for a little while, or take a vacation. And no, seriously, take a vacation and have a good you can rent ozonators. Some of these companies actually will have ozonators to loan you, and keep all your doors and windows closed. Let the ozone go for a few days. Of course, that's not good. You don't want to be, ozone is hard on the lungs if you have a high concentration, but it's very, very, very disinfecting, right? So as soon as you come home, open up all the doors, let that ozone kind of air out before you go back in. But still, you got to have some service. If it's really bad, you really got to take care of that, because I'm telling you, that'll really take a toll. It's like your body's constantly having to fight this external environmental stress. And it's like if you got a cold or a flu, anything else going on, it's like the body doesn't have any extra reserves to handle it.
Thank you so much for that. And so I just wanted to get back to the So Easy Cleanse. So we go to www.3daycleanse.com, and I wanted to share with everyone that Lynette, who works together with Bryant and really behind the scenes runs the 3-Day Cleanse website. And if you have any questions, she's the one who assists you. She was really gracious to offer my clients and anyone who's watching this broadcast a reduced rate, a coupon code. So if you go to 3daycleanse.com, you click order, type in Samurai, and you'll get a discount. I wanted to thank Lynette. Thank you so much for that. And I wanted to ask you, Brian, we were playing around with coupon codes, and you don't call them coupon codes. What do you call them?
Oh, coupon codes?
Coupon,
Yeah,
coupon.
we're just playing around. Yeah, I don't think I want to go over my list of codes. That was just humorous.
You
They were not exactly.
all Brian sent me about 15 coupon codes that shall be kept between he and I because they were absolutely funny. They may show up one day in his future comedy book, and you don't know it. Brian is actually very, very funny and is an advocate of laughter therapy as well as energy healing. And Brian, I'd really appreciate it if at a future date if you would consider doing a presentation on the PEMF and the five elements of health and what that is and the IMRS 2000 machine.
Yeah, the five elements of health. In my book, PMF, the fifth element, I just kind of very intuitively kind of categorize the whole sweep of natural healing into elements. So earth is like your food, water is water, fire is like natural sunlight and sauna therapy, things like that. Air is oxygen therapy, air purification. And then PMF is the fifth element, which is like the energy sort of, because our earth has a magnetic field, which has a frequency. And that's an essential element. So anyway, yeah, I would love to. There's a lot to say on. We could do an hour talk on each. Right, yeah. And we got gravity. I call the sixth element sort of loosely. The whole body vibration simulates a higher gravitational field, and it's very good for posture and alignment in the spine, which is also very important. That's a whole.
The Noble XK1.
The Nobel XK1, yeah, that's.
I have one of those here at the office. My clients love it. One of my clients who comes every week, she always comes 10 minutes early and uses it. It's so adorable and she loves it. It's amazing. It's helped her out.
It's good. It's good while you're doing the cleanse too, because if it kind of vibrates. If you kind of like pivot at your hips, you can really feel the vibration like in the colon, and it helps to kind of shake things loose a little bit. So, I mean, not to say you have to buy one to do the cleanse or anything. I'm just saying if you had access to one, like if you're close to Eric, go use it.
Thank you so much, Brian. It's been such a pleasure and an honor. And before we get going, is there anything else you'd like to say to our viewers here?
Yeah, just I try to help people to be, happy campers or happy crappers. Sometimes I say, but no, the colon, really pay attention to your colon health, and when you see what comes out doing the 3-day cleanse, I guarantee you're going to be inspired to really make a change in your diet and your lifestyle. Because there's that saying, if you always do what you always did, you always get what you always got. So you don't want to you don't want to clean that mucoid plaque out and then start to right away build another one. So, so really use it as a motivation to make a shift to a higher level of health. More fresh fruits and vegetables, whole grains. I mean, like brown rice, the good gluten-free grains. Steamed vegetables, salads, juices. If you do meat, just lean, grass-fed meats and free range, wild fish. It's wild, not farm-raised, etc. But that's a really important thing I want people to take with them is when you finish the cleanse, use that as a motivation to shift your health to a higher level and to stay clean.
Thank you so much, Brian. It's been such a pleasure and an honor. And if you have any more questions, go to 3daycleanse.com. And I wanted to thank Brian, Lynette, and all of you for joining and viewing. Have a wonderful evening, and may you have a wonderful cleanse. And may you use it, like Brian says, as a way to jumpstart into a healthier program for you. So have a great evening, a great day, and let's create the best life together. So, many blessings. See you soon.